Welcome to the Public Access Podcast, the podcast on the Rusty Diamond Podcast Network. I am here with Ambā Jai, and I'm Rusty Diamond, and let's get right into it because introductions are for suckers. What do you do when you have an introduction you got to do? I I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. I was doing introductions after I recorded. Do you have to do introductions anytime, or when you introduce yourself, what do you do?
When I introduce myself, it depends. Like if it's just a one-on-one, hey, I'm Ambā. But if I'm standing on a stage or teaching a class, I'll tell somebody a little bit about what we're about to do and why I'm qualified to be up there doing it, right? Like
Right.
give a little. So, I'm Ambā. I'm a feral as fuck Gen X person that, has made
I,
a life out of helping other people find safety in their body. You know what I mean? Like
I'm
you're like right on the main like road there or something, aren't you? You got all the scooters and shit. Just beep beep. It's right there.
yeah, I got everything. There's one. I don't know if it's going to pick up on this real well. It should be canceling it out somewhat, but we're going to find out if it really does. There's all kinds of shit. I got big old uh, trucks. There was this TikTok I saw, and it was, things you hear in the Philippines, and it was like at you know, 6 in the morning on a Saturday or Sunday morning, and it's you got this going on. You got a bunch of barking dogs and chickens and people sweeping stuff and doing construction, and I've gotten better at just sort of letting most of it drown out, but it doesn't always. When I'm recording, then it's a little different. I guess it makes it interesting a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a whole lot going on all the time. So, and it's not even the weekend. When it's the weekend, then it's kind of crazy.
Right. But it's like,
You had to think about it.
oh, I bet. And is it like it's barely well, I'm just trying to think of the time difference because also you're like in the middle of the afternoon or early evening there, right?
Yes.
So it's busy. Like everybody's doing. I'm at.
Yeah.
See, the sun's just coming up here, so it's super quiet still in my neighborhood
Oh,
because people aren't quite alive yet.
okay.
So
I think people are.
otherwise, it'll be noisy here too. Yeah.
Oh, it gets noisy there. Is it? You got what kind of noises do you have there?
Yeah, I live in the yeah. Well, I live on a main street in the downtown district in my city. So I have one of the streets that goes all the way, through an area. So from downtown to midtown. And so it's pretty busy and it's a steep hill. And in the winter, like right outside my house, I always witness, it's like I can sit with popcorn and watch the ice rink, just like
Yeah.
watch the cars skating down the street. It's lots of
That,
little accidents right out in front of my house and shit like that, just because of the roads and the weather and the hill and the traffic. And yeah, so I mean, it doesn't sound quite like that, but I get lots of semis right next to the big post office. So lots of semis barreling down the neighborhood street. Lots of motorcycles, lots of people.
that's what I got. It's like the main road that,
Walkable, so lots
yeah.
of foot traffic. Yeah.
Because everything, yeah. There's always
Yeah.
something. Uh, are you always kind of been in that sort of city? Were you always like kind of a city person? Is that how you do?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the city. Well, I went to high school. When I went to high school, I lived in the country. And now, as I get older, I'm like, I would love to have an acreage and get the fuck out of the city. But as a younger person, I definitely have always been drawn to more of a metropolitan area. Even though I'm from the Midwest and have pretty much been here my whole life, I was, I like having a walkable neighborhood that you can go and enjoy and but also I don't know, there's a dream there's a dream to have a big like family compound acreage where my children could have their own houses near, but not in mine, and my grandchildren could be near, and we could have gardens and animals and shit like that.
Yeah.
There's like suddenly I want to become a country girl again. And when I was a kid, my aunt and uncle had a farm, a working farm, so I would spend the summers on the farm, you know,
What did you like
doing
about
all the
that?
things that farm kids do, butchering chickens and feeding,
So you got,
being on the farm.
yeah, I mean, yeah, see, okay, go ahead.
I just liked being outside,
Oh,
just the
go ahead.
yeah, it's just the closeness to nature. I'm a barefoot, like I'm always barefoot. So I love my, even in the winter I won't wear socks. I put like big fluffy boots on, so as soon as I walk inside I can take my feet out and be barefoot. And so just getting my feet dirty was probably one of my favorite things.
Uh, Yesterday, the
Having dirty feet.
the woman I talked to, she was a barefoot woman as well. So I'm two for two on the barefoot people. But I was changed with barefoot. I was
Well, I already
always,
like her, I'm sure.
yeah, right. I was always socks and
Yeah.
shoes. I wouldn't really even wear uh, sandals or anything. But then, yeah, like I was living up in northern Idaho, and I was dating a woman, and she like was barefoot all the time, and I was like, what the fuck? But then it was like, because I didn't know, and then it was one of those green eggs and ham. She green eggs and hammed me with the bare feet, and I'm like, okay, I got this.
Right.
Uh, like I haven't figured out the washing it part. I haven't like figured out that part yet. The tricks around that, how to do it, or if it's just fucking you just like fuck it and it doesn't matter. But it's kind of both, I assume.
I kind of check my feet before I stick them in my sheets, right?
Okay,
So I'll
yeah,
look at my feet before I crawl into bed at night,
yeah,
and if they're really bad, I'll go wash them off. But sometimes if I look down and I'm like, oh, I don't see anything,
yeah,
I told you I'm feral as, I said I'm feral as fuck. Like I grew up this kid, like I'm not afraid of germs, and I'm not, like, ew, it's, nah,
yeah,
I mean, we're not like that. We're a family that, my kids who are grown still make fart jokes. I mean,
right.
like
Uh,
we're totally, you know,
you,
dirty feet and living in life instead of like on a shelf. Oh, we can't get dirty. We can't, like, no.
right. There was
I'm raising a granddaughter, and it's really important that she has dirty feet.
I hope so. And yeah, I remember talking to a friend, and she was saying that she she had someone that she worked with, like a client, and uh, like would lick the bottoms of his shoes, and I'm like, I bet that guy never fucking gets sick. Like, for one, like, I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff that like we should be doing. Like, we shouldn't be up on the shelf in a uh, plastic box or anything. We should be
Right.
getting dirty and feral as fuck if we can. If it's what we grew up doing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just sort of, yeah. It for
Oh, I
some.
know. Yeah, I'm a 71 baby, so
Oh,
go to the park.
yeah.
Go outside.
Come back at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Go to
know.
the park. Yeah, I won't get a pedicure because I'm afraid they'll take my shoes off the bottom of my feet because they're so like, they're not scaly, but they're like solid. Like the bottoms of my feet are like almost like you said, like almost like having shoes on,
Yeah.
and just like solid, you know.
And
And I don't want them to like. Then they you get a pedicure and it makes them all tender and babyish again. And I'm like, oh, ow, ow! I stepped on a rat. Ow. No, I don't want it.
yeah,
I like my shoes on the bottom of my feet that are made of skin.
yeah. Like when
Mine. I'm not Hannibal. Like I'm not getting all crazy or anything. But
Yeah, like you're playing a guitar or something. Like you got to get your fingers all uh, done up so it doesn't hurt. Um, Wrestling, running the ropes. Like if you stop doing that for a while and you go and hit those ropes again, that
Mm-hmm.
that, that hurts. That hurts a lot. But if you're doing that
Ooh,
enough, like
ooh, I bet.
you got the build up on your back, and it's cool. Like I don't think there's enough parts of us that we trust ourselves that we can do that. Like with the bottom of our feet, like I don't know. I still feel like I like walking through hot sand. Like I feel like I'm still like my feet aren't quite ready for it yet, but I feel like I'm building towards it. But I think that yeah, I don't want to. I think that we have our body to do this stuff, and it can do it if we train it right, and it's there for a reason. Our toenails,
Yeah.
I don't know
I
what we have
mean,
to grip
really, really hot.
underwater. Sorry, what?
I don't know. I do cut my toenails.
Well,
I do. I
but
do cut my toenails because
right. Well,
Well, I did body work. So I'm a licensed massage therapist for over 20 years, and I've never done a massage with shoes on. Not one in over 20 years. And so I did like at least keep my toenails cut nice because when people look down from the table, I don't want them to see snaggle. Like if they open their eyes in the face cradle, I'm standing there. I don't want them to look at like gnarls, so I would at
that's
least
fair.
cut my toenails, but I didn't. I mean, I haven't ever worn a pair of shoes. I've never worn a pair of shoes. Weren't allowed them in massage school. We weren't allowed to wear them. So
Oh,
that's how I learned. And then I just never, even when I would work at like high end places, I'd wear slippers and get in the room and take them off as soon as I got in the treatment room with people because I just don't want to wear shoes while I'm doing it. I
what
feel less connected. I can't get in the flow so much. And
understandable. What kind of slippers were you wearing? Were you wearing like some
yeah,
like big bear claw slippers or something, or like were they were
I
they
wish that would have been great. Nah,
yeah.
usually I had to get something in the dress code, right? Like
Oh
black
yeah.
shoes. So I just get like black slide on slippers or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What's
I can
been
conform enough, right? I
yeah.
can conform enough to,
Yeah, I always had trouble with that. I had trouble with some of those, like getting as close as I could. I remember working at Domino's. I wasn't allowed to have sideburns past the bottom of my ears, but then somehow those always got a little longer. Or my you could we had to wear a hat, but we couldn't have our hair dyed. But if we had our hair dyed under our hats, we could do that. And so it was always kind of something. I was like, I can't quite do this. I can't like really go to this. What can I do this?
Mhm.
Just kind of barely enough to get by that D minus effort. It's just yeah, I don't know.
Right. I did 20 years in corporate America. And
Wow.
I did 20 years in corporate America, and I don't know how I ended up there. Like as a commodity procurement manager for Conagra Foods for 10 years. And so that's back in the day when the women's dress code was pantyhose, heels, and a skirt.
Holy shit.
It was
And this
like,
was every
so I'd
day.
be in a pencil skirt, stilettos, tuxedo shirt every day. And
Oh,
eventually, like there was no like every cookie cutter. One day I walked out, came back the next Monday. One Friday I walked out, came back the next Monday with dreadlocks, and they were like, "I'm like, what are you gonna say to me? Like,
right.
are you gonna fire me? I'm making millions of dollars. Like, what are you gonna?" And
Oh,
there are three beautiful women of color down there with dreadlocks. You're not saying nothing to them. So, I've always, and I became known as like the tattoo shop across the street. I'd go get tattoos on my lunch break, and I became ConAgra Jen, which is my government name, Jen. And it was just a whole thing. I was actually in the local newspaper. They did a story about women and hiding tattoos, and I was getting my belly tattooed, my whole stomach's tattooed. And this was before all of this stuff because I was hiding them, right? Because I was in corporate America.
Yeah.
And so I end up on this spread in the local newspaper with some other woman with our belly tattoos showing, like full on. And I go to work one day, and the vice president calls me into his office, and he's like, imagine my surprise on the corporate jet this morning when I opened the paper to see my employee like, I'm like, hey man, like,
I'm off the clock.
doing my job. Like, so it's always been a struggle,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm off the clock. Like, it's always kind of been, when you're that kind of, what I know now is that I'm just neurodivergent,
Right. We didn't have word for that back then.
I just wasn't really wired the same as anybody else I was around.
Same. And I mean,
No, I was just dramatic. That's what they call it.
Yeah, okay. You got the dramatic. Okay, I got weird. I think, but even weird was like, I don't know. There was others. There was also dickhead and stuff like that, but that might have been a different thing. But the tattoos. I mean, yeah, I always was. I wanted to make sure.
I was slut. So
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, that's it goes along in the whole all bit of it. And yeah, I mean, like tattoos, I stayed with. I wanted it because same with it was going back to most jobs. Like I was like, I want it. So if I wear a t-shirt and shorts or something, like it's still all going to be covered, and only like some people really know if I have any tattoos, and then I was like, okay, now I'm old enough. I don't care anymore. Like, and plus now it doesn't. I don't know. Even like 25 years ago, it was so different.
It's changed so much.
And
it was so different. And I'm in, like I said, I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. It's still like 15 years behind the coast, right? So at least 10 to 15 years. Guarantee you can. Trends, all of that. It's always behind. And so it was still like the only women getting visible tattoos were, biker bitches. And, it was this it was still seen as so taboo. And now, I took my mom to get her first tattoo, like years and years after, or her own. Well, she may have another one by now, but, years and years after her, like, oh, I can't believe you're getting tattoos. Then she's, I decided I want one. Will you take me? So, that was kind of cool, to take my mom into my then artist. And no, I didn't get one with her at the time.
Cool.
All of mine, interestingly, without planning mine together, they weren't like a unified full body kind of experience piece, but all of them are leading. All my artwork leans in the same direction. It's all some sort of representation or spiritual symbol on my non-dual tantric path. So this whole thing is the goddess and the elevation to, like, there's prayers, there's all of it is like associated with what I do. And I didn't plan it that way, but that's just kind of what happened.
Right.
And I didn't plan on having, half of my body covered in tattoos, but that's just what, it just happened. So, I traded, bartered for tattoos for 12 years. I had an agreement with an artist, and I did body work for him and his wife, massage, yoga, Reiki, all the stuff, sound healing, all the stuff. And then I would go in and we just trade it out. So, when you have a deal like that, you just keep getting tattoos, like
all of a sudden you're like, well,
I haven't had one for a while. When that deal, yeah. Like, hey, why not? And then it became kind of a mission of like dispelling this whole like women with tattoos or, gross and not feminine and whatever. I'm feminine as fuck, dude. I mean, I'm definitely all female, and so it became a mission to like, I'm always like trying to break the stereotypes, I guess,
Yeah.
I want people to almost feel bad for judging the book by the cover. Like I want them to make this, and then when they talk to me or meet me or learn anything about me, they're like, "Oh, you're not anything like I imagined when I first looked at you or saw you." So, and I get that a lot. So, and that's fine.
So
It's an opportunity for them to learn a lesson and grow a little bit, maybe.
it's sort of, like you say something fucking pretty out there right off the bat, and then either people are gonna, some people might just be like, well, fuck, I'm not even gonna try. But then, the right people come along, and then they'll want to, understand what's going on, and, get to know the real you. And
Yep.
then those are the people worthwhile. Uh, I, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I used to like to go
It
do, go ahead.
no,
Oh, I was gonna say
no, you're not in. Go ahead.
I used to go like to do karaoke for a little while, and I would go and pick a really fucked up song with saying really fucked up shit. But it would go and get rid of a lot of the people that, weren't going to get anything else. But then the people that were left were people that were like, we're gonna have a fucking good time. Like the people, like the people, the bar owners didn't like it very much, but the people that hung around, like we all like were able to connect on that deeper level. And it was, some people I think are afraid of that, to go and right off the bat, you know, uh, not
Be
be,
authentic.
yeah, like, I don't know, not be acceptable, not acceptable,
It's
but
hard for people.
palatable.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's trained into us. And some of us, I mean, in our generation, it was literally beaten into us, Not me.
Yeah,
My mom was not like a corporal punishment mom. I mean, I had my own shit happen, but it really wasn't related to my parents, right? So, it we're just trained to not be anything but what the cookie cutter wants us to be, right? Like, oh, we're going to educate you all the same way so that you think that this is what reality is, and we're going to teach you to compete with each other because God forbid you collaborate and realize that we're just a bunch of fucktards messing with your life and taking away, and then all of these things. And I think it takes some of us a long time. Some of us kind of never duck in, but it took me a long time. It's been 25 years of constant daily, me trying to eradicate those things that were like sitting in my bones that were, keeping me from being authentic and expressing myself in the world that was me just because of what had happened in life, right? It's like when the story changes the way that you interact in the world, then maybe it's time to eradicate the story and not who you really are,
right.
right?
Yeah.
We don't figure that out, I don't think, until we have an opportunity to figure that out. And some of us never do. And there's no shame or judgment in that. Like we all have our own. I'm a non-dualist, so that means that I believe everything is divine, like even the shit. Like this shit sandwich of life, I'm gonna devour it
Yeah.
because when it's crappy, because it's still divine and it's not wasted. There's something there for my nourishment.
Yeah.
Maybe it's uncovering a pattern of behavior. Maybe it's, maybe it's whittling away some other belief I had about myself that isn't true, or whatever it is. Even the hardest things in life are there for a reason. Nothing's wasted. And, that's just kind of how mine has come to be, how I've come to a place where I can be at peace with everything that I've experienced and enjoy life even when life is really, really hard. Because life doesn't change as we heal, right? People are like,
Right.
oh, you heal, life gets better. No, it doesn't. Life does not get better. You do.
Yeah.
Like life still lifes. You have no control over that. It's like early in recovery from substances. You hear in like 12-step rooms and things like, oh, life just gets better and better. No, that's bullshit. Life does not get better. Your ability to respond to life gets better. Let's
Right.
call it what it really is. Because when we tell people life gets better, they all of a sudden expect that nothing bad is going to happen. Like they're not going to have misfortune or struggle or other conflict. Yes, that
Yeah.
shit's still going to come, but it's how we react or do we respond? Where that's what changes. So anyway,
Did
I can go on about that kind of stuff
you
forever.
can
I can get
go
on my soapbox
get on your
forever.
soapbox? Have you ever been to a one of those 12-step programs? Have you ever walked in the doors in one of those?
Yeah, I actually was an active member of the original for 8 years. For
Okay.
8 years, and then and actually was like a speaker. I traveled all over the region and spoke at conventions and youth recovery things, and yeah. And then I it started taking more than it was giving. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
this, I believe that the 12 steps saved my life. Going to an AA meeting saved my life. And I believe I took what I needed, and then the rest, you kind of got to leave behind. You got to remember, like, it's not fucking Well Persons Anonymous. Like, people aren't there
Yeah.
because they're well, right? And a lot of people don't get well. They just trade their addiction, right, for this. Oh, I can't do this, so now I'm going to be stuck here for the rest of my life, and I have to be here because if I'm not here, I'm going to go back and do this. And there's sort of that. That's the mentality I couldn't get behind. But I do believe that those steps, if you figure them out and you implement them, they don't become something you work. You just live as a human that day to day is accountable for their behavior.
Yeah.
Like, all of these things. If you just implement that shit, like I haven't been to a meeting in over 10 years now, and I did not go back to my old ways. So, I mean, that just,
Yeah.
and I was drinking handles of vodka and whiskey and lots of cocaine. And I haven't had a desire to return to the use of those things,
Yeah.
even without meetings,
Right.
So it's really about how far do you take where do you take it to? Like, is it surface level, or do you really want to heal and discover, like, what was I medicating myself for? Why was I? Because it starts as medicine. We're medicating whatever's ailing us internally, right? Like emotional shit, trauma, whatever it is. It starts as
Yeah.
medicine and it becomes toxic. And it's really about looking at that relationship that I have with those things that I'm using to cope with life,
And
right?
yeah, and
I mean, that's kind of the way I view it now.
and so yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I stopped, and it was just that was yeah, because I would go to them for a while. I was going, and it was yeah, I mean, it was good, but I don't think that because yeah, I mean, after I stopped going, I went back out, but I feel like I got the baseline, like the like what I needed to know for
Mm-hmm.
for whatever else. Um, but like I don't know, I think other things really kept me from not going back to. I think life experiences made me go, not want to go back to
Mm-hmm.
any of those things either. Like, so I mean, I think meetings are
Right.
good. Meetings are good. It's good to do it, but then it's also like you don't want to be doing that your whole life, if you can help it. Like
Right.
to be like you're not
Right. It's like
always.
for whom and when.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Right. Yeah.
eventually,
It's so for whom and when, right? We say that for whom and when. You can't really say for one person. It's not a blanket. It's for whom and when.
yeah,
And they're good till they're not good anymore. And that's what, happened with me is it started to, because of my own journey into, maybe because I was studying other types of spirituality, and I live in a super like Catholic Christian part of the country, very, very, very driven still by the church. And maybe, and the meetings were like, I had people harass me for not reciting the Lord's Prayer at the end. I mean, I'd still hold
Oh,
hands and bow my head, but I'm not a Christian. So why would I say a prayer that I think that would be disrespectful
yeah,
to recite something that I don't believe. And so I would, and I would get attacked, and this was kind of towards the end. And I'm just like, this is supposed to feed your soul. And if it's not feeding my soul, then I'm out. The sad
yeah,
thing is, though, that I lost all those friends that, were part of the social aspect because of their fear that I would return to addictive use and consumption of,
right.
things that were destroying my life, and because that fear is bred into that, into the program, I think a little bit. That's where it gets a little cold. That's just my,
Yeah,
and so I just walked away.
yeah. I mean, the people in there, I haven't talked to any of them since I walked out. There's one person, her and I still talk, but we were talking before then, like, that's kind of how we became friends. But yeah, like everyone else, I have no clue. Like I haven't since the day I stopped, which would have been I don't know, 2007 maybe, something like that, 2008. So like it's been a
Yeah.
long time, but like I don't know
You were
even
leaving as I,
yeah,
you were leaving as I was going in.
okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I went in like 2006 was, so it's been
uh,
20 years this year since I
uh,
quit doing cocaine, which was really what took me down was the cocaine. I
yeah,
love the cocaine.
but getting lit up
It kept me from
like
blacking out.
Buck
It
Cherry,
kept me
yeah.
from blacking out.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll keep it going all night.
Oh God, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Yeah. I
Yeah,
wouldn't even, I have no interest. And plus, like, I know what the scene is now because I still know lots of people in the scene here. I mean, like, I'm one of the old hippie like heads from the day, right? So
yeah.
now that I'm 55, I'm an elder in the fucking community, right? That's scary. And so I know now, like, there's people dropping from Fenny and their coke, and like that's just such a waste. I don't understand why drug dealers do that. I never did. Like, why are you giving away shit and killing people? Like, you're killing off your
Right.
customer base. I don't really
Yeah.
understand that, but
Yeah.
it's bad. It's bad here, and so I just, and I back in the day when I was doing it, I got connected with a gentleman from Colombia,
Oh shit.
and my friend owned the house that he was living in, and so my girlfriend owned the house that he was living in on paper, so he could be there. And so I didn't pay anything, and I had stuff that was pre stomped.
Yeah.
So though, like, what
Oh
people are
shit.
getting around here today would have been a total waste of my time. I would have been
Yeah.
like, what is this? Like.
Yeah. What
So it
colors?
took me pretty quick though, because it was so that beautiful crystalline white,
Yeah.
like pure as my glasses. So it was yeah, it was some fun times that ended up in not so fun times. But you
So
learn, you learn what's gonna, what we need to learn.
yeah.
Hopefully, shit.
Yeah. And if you don't learn,
They
maybe you're
agree.
on the
They
path
agree.
to
Beep, beep.
learning. Yeah. So then
Hopefully,
what?
right?
Yeah. So I mean, like, so someone right now was, 'cause I mean, it's different for everyone. I mean, like, if someone now was really into whatever substance or I guess kind of whatever, like, would you give them advice on where to go, or would you just say like, or just, like, don't do this, go this way, like this is probably a better way, or you just like, here's the options, you can figure it out on your
I
own, and
just I share from my own, I can only share from my own experience, right? So I
Sure.
try not to tell people what they should or shouldn't do. But if someone comes to me and asks, and I do have people active in my life that are newly, even off of methamphetamine and things like that, people still come to me. I ran the detox unit locally here for a while. I was not the medical ran it, but ran like all the behavioral health techs and did all the intake for people popping into detox off of, whatever they needed to detox off of.
Yeah.
And so people know that I know the signs, like when does a squad need to be called? And so I've actually had people show up at my house and be like, can I just stay in your office and like detox off this shit,
Oh,
and I'll just watch them. And then I just, if they ask, and that doesn't happen very often, and I have to really know them. Like they have to be someone that I really know and love to let them come into it. Like,
yeah.
I'm not going to just grab some guy off the street or gal off the street, but a good friend, like I had a good friend who she had a bad alcohol bender and needed, and so she slept in my office for 3 days, and we kept her hydrated and watched her for seizures and, did all the stuff we need to do. And, I don't give advice unless someone asks me. That's something I learned a long time ago. Don't give advice. Don't be the teacher unless someone asks you to be the teacher, and give them advice, because they don't always want it. I will ask them, do you want my advice, or do you just want me to like hold space here for you and help you do this? And if they want it, I'll just share like what it was like for me. Like you can try 12 steps, but go in knowing, and that's my favorite line of it's not well persons anonymous. Like go in knowing that like people are still behaving badly and they're still hurting each other. I mean, my first child is a product of a 13 step. Like the first time I went into AA twice. The first time at 20, I was in a really bad car accident when I was 19. I was in a head-on collision, and I was a partial ejection through the windshield. I went through with my face up to my shoulders and was hanging over the like out like this, and like so tore off the right side of my face. I've had skin grafts and scar revisions, and actually for what it was like, I'm like, hey, not too bad, 55, and I don't look like the Elephant Man, so I'm cool. But I did go in and get sober for a couple years after that, just because my plastic surgeon was like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna give you an eyelid. I didn't have an eyelid. He's like, I'm not gonna do your next surgery unless you go to therapy, because you're not okay. You're not okay. And I wasn't. I was trying to kill myself after that. I mean, I wasn't intoxicated during the accident, but it really, I partied a lot, before, and a lot even more after for a while. And in that first round, within 2 months of being sober, I got pregnant by a man that had multiple years of sobriety. So, and then when I was pregnant, it was suddenly like, oh, it's not my kid. I don't know what she's talking about. So we did all that dance, now she's 34, and, so I knew right away when I went back, like what things, that there are people that still behave really badly, and to just take what I needed, the good stuff, and that I needed to just leave the rest of it right there in the seat where it sat. It came out of an asshole, let it sit with that asshole, right? Just like let it be, and not attached to any of that. And that was huge for me, because if I hadn't had that, I don't know that I would have made it kind of back around to find my way back out of where I had ended up back in, because it took a long time, 12 years from me leaving to coming back. And not all of it was their addiction type use, but towards the last probably 4 years, it was really bad, so hiding in the basement, freebasing cocaine when my kids are asleep upstairs, like not that.
Yeah. So
I'm glad it was there when it was time, because then I just had a place to land. I had a place to land to get my head right.
What happened when you walked in there that time?
The first time, the very first time, or when I came back?
When you came back.
When I came back, well, most people didn't even know me because it had been so long, that I was just like a whole, and it had been over a decade. So either they had gone back out or they were further down the road. And I also went to different locations than I went to the prior time.
Okay.
And I wasn't a young person anymore. And so the first time I was really involved in the young people scene. So, but I think it was the second meeting that someone came up to me and said, "Hey, Jen, it's good to see you." And I was like, fuck.
Wow.
You know, when someone recognized me from before the first time. And it was like, I think 2, maybe 3 meetings back in when someone, and I didn't recognize him, but he recognized me. And he said, "It's nice to see you've made it back." And that was it, you know, and then I took I was ready. I mean, I was just ready to not be living in it. And my recovery took off really fast, if you will. Like I was just ready to heal, like ready to be done with all the suffering. Like there's got to be more to my life than all of this shit. And I was suffering. I had a lot of big T trauma, and I ain't going to trauma bomb people, but I had a lot of big T trauma. You know, I'd had my safety taken away from me in my body at 5, and it was continually taken until, you know, all the way through high school. And we're talking in our era, the pre-date rape was not a thing. You know, it didn't, those things didn't exist. And so I had a lot in my body. I was just so angry, and I was so sad, and I was just suffering so badly. And I was pretending like I wasn't. And that's, you know, what happens when we start drinking and using to numb it out, right? When we can no longer pretend it isn't there, but we're not doing anything with it, but sitting in the shit.
Right.
Just sitting in it. And I was so tired of sitting in it. I was just so tired. And I knew there had to be something else that I wasn't born to just suffer. I knew I wasn't born to just suffer, to just have heart, you know, ick. And I was right. You know, even my children would say, my youngest says all the time, like, when I think of mom before and mom now, like, that's mother, and you're mama. You ain't even the same people. Like, they're totally different people.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the level of work that I've done on exposing my own bullshit, really, because that's what it boils down to, is you have to expose your own bullshit. It doesn't matter what anybody else does, because I have no control over that. Like, only thing I have control over is my own bullshit. So that's what I have to do. You have to expose your own bullshit if you want to get well and not have suffering, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't suffer if you expose it, because then you just accept where life is and you move forward as you need. And it just kind of changes things.
Yeah, because
it did for me anyway. But, I mean, that's all I really.
I mean, that's one thing I didn't like about one of the things I didn't like about the 12 step was because it was, you can let someone else take the responsibility for all this, your higher power or whatever that may be, and it was not taking responsibility for yourself, and there was not as much of a reason to grow and learn about yourself and learn what you've been fucking up. It's just like, well, you know, you can let this go, and you're fine. And yeah, it's kind
So
of,
you get to, you know, like your eighth night, you know, so you get down to your amends. So we got to group
yeah,
all the amends in one lump. Like, what the fuck is that?
right,
How
yeah,
about you just do it every
which
day?
is
How about you just be accountable?
right,
Just be accountable.
yeah. I mean, being
Yeah.
accountable,
I think that's where people get hung up in it.
that was a
I think
part
that's where
that.
people get hung up in the loop, right? They're like,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
you're telling me down here I have to make amends for all the things I've done wrong, but you're also telling me that I don't have any power or controls.
Right. Yeah.
Which is it? Am I a fault or not? You know,
Yeah.
there's and again, like, I think that's like humanity, like getting up, you know, taking the initial, or I think maybe the original intent was to get that super obsessive egomaniac mind to shut the fuck up. Like, they're saying, you know, you're not God.
Yeah.
But here's the reality. Yes, we fucking are. Like, as a non-dualist, yes, we are.
Yeah.
You are, I am. So's that gong. So's the sun coming in the shine. So's the carpet I'm sitting on. It all is. So for me, that was the difference. Like, I could no longer do this. Like, God's above me looking down, telling me whether I'm wrong or right. No, fuck that. No, I
Yeah.
can't. I'm sorry, but all the men that have stood above me, yeah, no, we're done with that patriarchal hierarchy in my world, like as much as possible. And that's just probably why I stood out in the crowd. It was honestly a lot of times why I got asked to speak at the podium, because I canceled all that sort of spiritual bypass bullshit. I would stand at the podium and go, hey, you know what? We're not supposed to live in these fucking rooms. We're supposed to live out there in the world.
Yeah.
These rooms are supposed to give us a place to learn how to do that. And then we're supposed to go out there and be productive members of society.
Yeah. It's not forever.
You know,
it's not
I talked about
constantly.
loving people that were right. Talked about loving people. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It saves millions of people though. So, you
I
know,
agree. I agree. And it, gets. Uh, I don't know. So like, were were you the
I,
coffee and cigarette person, or were you? What was your deal when you were in there? Because that was me. I was. I couldn't even
oh
go the
yeah,
whole hour
I'm
without.
all about the coffee. I'm all about
Okay.
the coffee.
No cigarettes, so.
I could go through the meeting. I could go through the meeting without a cigarette. I
Okay.
haven't I did smoke. I quit smoking cigarettes like 6 years ago. But back then, when I first started, you just smoked in the meeting.
Yeah.
The first time around, we just smoked in the meeting. There were smoker meetings and non-smoker meetings,
Oh,
but they're all held in the same room. So even if you went to the non-smoker meeting, the room reeked.
yeah.
But there were some meetings in Omaha that were so big that they would actually have a smoke break in the middle of them because
Oh,
they just were like, people are getting up halfway through and leaving to go. So they would just do a smoke break.
yeah.
And
That.
sometimes when I smoked, I did. Otherwise, I could make it the hour without a cigarette. But definitely, it was in the crowd, right outside the door, even in the dead of winter. All of us huddled up,
Yeah.
having our cigarettes. And
Yeah.
I was a menthol or cloves girl. I hated the taste of regular cigarettes, so I was like,
Oh,
I'm glad I don't do that. Those were harder to quit smoking than crack, dude.
yeah.
Like quitting nicotine was the hardest thing to quit. Way harder than alcohol, than cocaine. It's the
Yeah.
hardest fucking thing to quit. It was awful.
Yeah. I mean, I still.
It
I
was terrible.
see cigarettes. Like, I don't have the desire to go and like buy a pack of cigarettes or bum a pack of cigarettes. But if I see one that's like half smoked somewhere, I'm like, oh, I could probably smoke that. Like, that's probably all right. Like, if it's like an ashtray half smoked, I'm like, there's still a
It
good
doesn't
amount
matter whose
left.
mouth bends on it.
Right. Yeah. I'll be all right. Or, but yeah, like, I don't know. Yeah, smoking took a long time, and like I think every time it was, I don't know. I tried a lot of different things. I tried sunflower seeds were a lot for a while. That was the thing. Or I tried skateboarding at one point, and I just go anytime I wanted to do that, I go skateboarding. And none of those really worked. And eventually, it was just I needed to, uh, and yeah. I don't know. Yeah, smoking's a
I don't know.
motherfucker.
One day I just quit.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I even did like the Chantix. Oh my God.
Oh shit, how'd
Oh,
that
the
work?
fucking
That
nightmares, man.
those things
I
were
was like a
fucking.
mass killer. Oh my God. Those were so bad. I
Yeah.
was like an axe killer in my dreams on that shit. I was like,
I
like blood and gore. I was like, what is, I can't do
yeah.
this. No, 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 no.
Yeah, that's
And the Wellbutrin, I did the Wellbutrin, gave me vertigo,
same.
was like, oh, like I'm spinning. And
Wow.
then when I finally quit, I just, it was during lockdown. It was right after COVID lockdown happened, and I couldn't work during lockdown because I was a massage therapist, so we weren't allowed to work. Um, and so I was doing, I decided instead of sitting around drinking or doing something like everybody else I knew was doing that wasn't working, I was going to go ahead and educate myself a little further and started to do another like yoga program with a ashram in India online. And so I'm up at 3 a.m, like doing yoga with the guru in India. And one of the things he said in the very beginning was, if you smoke cigarettes, that's the first thing that needs to stop. You're ruining your lungs need you to be able to breathe. Da 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 da. And I just was like, okay, and I just quit. That was
Oh
it.
shit. Yeah.
It was just, I don't know how, and then it was just done. I was like, okay, he's right. I know I wanted to quit forever, and I just quit, and that was it. And there was no struggle, there was no craving, and I haven't had one since. So
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens after I started smoking off and on since I was like 12. Because back when we were kids, I don't know what year you were born, but we could write the fancy handwriting note from mom to go to
Oh,
the gas station and buy cigarettes for
yeah.
$1.25 or whatever. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
for us, we were the kids writing the notes, but
Right.
take
It
you to the
didn't
gas
matter.
station, they give you a pack of cigarettes. They didn't care.
Yeah. So
Didn't matter. And so then
I'm
we were just sneaking around.
yeah. I'm 82. So like, so we had it where if
Oh, like you're 11 years younger than me.
yeah, but like we could go to the gas station and pull up in a car. There was a gas station by our high school, and we could if someone in the car showed an ID, just like so, like if someone looked, they could be like, "Oh, this person checked it out," and then we can get cigarettes. But then also in middle school, we could. They had cigarettes in the back of the store, and you had to like bring them up to the front of the store to pay for them, which was yeah crazy. And so
I
I
would
mean,
never do that now.
yeah, and
He'll
so
be walking out with cartons, man. It'd be
right,
like,
I yeah, it didn't make sense. But even then, but I remember still like I don't know what it was with that store. That it was a place called Wanker's Corner, and there was. But then I remember like the stores like you're talking about, like where you bring in the
Wanker's
note.
Corner.
Wanker's Corner, yeah. Uh, it's quite the spot. There were two kids that were I went to
That gives
school
me
with.
quite the visual.
Yeah, it was their last name. Um, it was I don't remember the
Oh,
girl's
those poor
name, but the
kids.
boy's name was Frank. So the boy's name was Frank Wanker. Shout out to Frank Wanker, which is great. I mean, I don't know what happened to that guy. And the sister, I don't remember her name, but yeah, it was the thing.
I would
But
have
I
changed
remember
my
them.
last name as an adult, probably.
You what? What'd you say?
You know how those names came to be, right? Didn't they say those surnames came from the
Right,
surnames came from like what the male did? So
right,
what was he wanking back in the
right.
day that the
Yeah,
last name became wank? I'm sorry, that's so inappropriate. But there it
but it's
is. There's
true.
my fearless like
Yeah. Why is your last
my
name Wanker?
dudish sense of humor. Like, why is it wanker?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we were all asking, and it's still like,
Yeah.
still now, however many years later. But I remember too, like it had the cigarettes in the front, up at the counter, up at the other one, up at the, 'cause there was the Sunset Market that we could go to in town too, and it was, like they had the cigarettes up there, up at the counter. But I still don't know why they had the cigarettes in the back of the store at that place. And that was so weird because especially with a middle school right there. There was a middle school and a grade school right there. I don't know if the grade school kids were stealing cigarettes, but all my friends were stealing cigarettes, and I assume at some point
Oh
they
yeah, sure that
smartened
middle
them
school
up,
was. I'm
and
sure.
yeah, and so we could all go and smoke cigarettes, and um,
Yeah.
but so what? I mean, I don't know. So like some people, that's also why I don't like doing stop smoking hypnosis, like because I don't want like nobody really wants to stop smoking. Not nobody. There's very few people that I think want to stop smoking that will do hypnosis. Like of the whole people that reach out to do it, like I don't know how many people actually want to, or else this most of the time it's someone else wanting them to.
Right.
And so I was like, fuck them. Like, don't do it. I don't want to do this. And it's all about when you feel like
Right.
it.
You don't want to plant. That's like sort of unethical, right? Like, don't you feel like that's
Sure.
borderline planting unethical? Like, you don't want this, so why
Right.
would you want me to plant this in your subconscious? Like,
Agree. Yeah. And yeah, like do you really
Yeah.
want this? Like, if you don't want it, like, don't do it. Don't feel bad about it. Like, anybody that's doing whatever, like, don't feel fucking bad about it. Have fun. Go out and enjoy it. If someone's giving you shit, that's on them for feeling that
Mhm.
way. Like, you can still do whatever you want. But, I don't know. That's my drug PSA. If you still want to do it, fucking go do it. Don't feel bad about it. Enjoy it. If you want to stop at some point, make sure it's because you want to stop, and you'll stop anyway. If you need something else to go with it, you can do that. There's
Right.
plenty of other ways to go do that. Um, and yeah, I mean, I have people that
Yeah.
will want me to,
Well, you're not going to quit unless you're ready.
right? Yeah, and
Yep. People
yeah,
don't stop unless they're ready to stop. I mean, you can't do it for children, you can't do it for a partner, you can't even do it for the fucking law. I mean, really,
right,
people try, but if they don't really want it, and maybe the desire can come from, start there, like, oh, I got in trouble, la, 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 I have to do this, and the desire to actually want it can happen. So yay for the person that makes it there, and at the same time, we can't, I don't know. We can't want it for people more than they want it for themselves. That's just, what did they used to say? Resentments are just expectations you don't know you have yet, or some shit like that. Like, unmet expectations are how we build resentments or whatever. And that's true. Like, when you have some expectation of someone else, my expectations of others are that they just respect my personal boundaries. That's it. Like, do
yeah,
you? And if it encroaches on my boundaries, then just do you a little further over there.
right, yeah,
Like, a little further away. Like, if you want to be up close in my, then we're gonna have a mutually respectful thing. But otherwise, I have nothing to do with your life. Like, my job as a parent and a grandparent raising grandchildren is to model how we be a good human, not to dictate like how we be a good human, because that doesn't, you know.
yeah. It,
So I, even with my little one, my little granddaughter, who's like fierce and I'll be like, you can be mad as you want, but you can't point it at me. You can go in your room and scream. Like, go have your freak out. Just do it over there. It's like,
yeah. Do, uh, so does
you know,
your kids and your granddaughter, do they come into your room that you're in right now? Where are they with that? If you want to talk about it, you don't have
hmm
to, but are they into
into my,
into everything you do, or is it like that's mom's stuff, that's grandma's stuff?
well, somewhat.
Okay,
Yeah. So my grandkids call me Aja because I became a grandma in my 30s. My oldest grandkid is 17. So he's almost a
okay,
grown ass man. Taller than me. And it seems unreal. And then the others are little. I've got two little granddaughters that are 9 and 8, almost. They're about 5 months apart. And then a little guy who's going to be 3 in a couple months. And two of them live in Michigan. One is in Florida, and then the one is here with me full time. That one of the 8-year-old girl is here with me full time, and their mother, my youngest, is also here. And they have some pretty significant mental health diagnoses. And so while they're in recovery and in treatment for their mental health, they're kind of allowed to be around. And when they're not, and they're self medicating and doing the things that they were before, then they're not allowed to be around. But right now they're doing what they're supposed to do, which is treat their mental health. They're schizophrenic with borderline personality, so that requires the schizophrenia requires psychopharmacology. It just does, and they have to be on meds. That's kind of a boundary that I have because otherwise the delusions are, it can get kind of frightening. And we don't need that around here. So the little one we do what I call dance party. So I just frame
oh
it for
shit,
her. So I just do somatic work. And so in this room, I do sound healing and stuff. So I get her in here and we move, we do yoga together. She'll chant mantras, all of that stuff. So I get her in here, get her in her body, get her moving and get her wiggling. And that is really profound for a kid who's diagnosed with AUDHD, autism. She's high functioning autistic with pretty severe ADHD combined. So she's bouncing off the walls. The energy moving through her body is staccato as fuck. I can feel her like, all the time. So I get her in here and we get it moving, and that helps. It helps with emotional regulation. It helps her to be able to learn to language her feelings and what she's going through. And obviously, she's in therapy. She has psychiatry,
Yeah.
all this stuff. I do all the things, but I get told over and over again by her providers that she's pretty lucky to have a grandma that's all into somatic healing and body work, because I'll do massages on her. I'll put the sound bowls on her and when she wants. And so I invite them in, and, you know, my daughters aren't really into it, but the granddaughters love it because it's movement and it's playing with grandma. So that's
Yeah.
just kind of what we do.
And with, that much energy, being able to go and, not try to stop it and say, hey, sit down and, shut up, whatever. Like,
Right.
you're like, let's
You
fucking
mean
work
what
with
we
this
got
thing.
told?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Stay
Yeah.
still, be quiet. Like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Fucking
Right. I
sure.
don't
This
want
is
to say,
cool.
and I've heard myself say, yep, I've heard myself say to her, oh my God, you're so loud. And then I'm like, wait, or like, be quiet. And then I'm like, no, that's what they did to you. Like, so then I'll stop myself.
Yeah.
So I'm retraining myself as well, right? So I'll stop myself and be like, honey, I love that you are having such a good time singing and dancing. Can we just turn the volume down just a touch to the indoor level? Because it's hurting Aja's ears, and because I have my ADHD has some auditory, if it's too loud, it'll hurt my eardrums. And so I'll just,
Sure.
can we just take your dial and just go do, 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 and just keep on singing? Keep on singing. Just, I'm going to ask you to just breathe, And so we
Yeah.
kind of rephrase it a little bit, or we don't say you're being, like you're being dramatic, or you're being, oh my God, what's wrong? I'll say, are you feeling tender today? We don't say, you're so sensitive. It's, oh, are you
Oh,
having some tender feelings? So I'm trying to also like re-language things that take the shame language out of it, right? Like, oh, you're so emotional. No,
yeah.
hey, honey, are you feeling tender in your feelings today? Do you have some big feelings going on? Because 8-year-olds' feelings are just as big as my 55-year-old feelings, and their body is a lot smaller
Right.
to contain it. And as far as my belief structure is that emotions are just energy in motion. We just have to feel them and let them move through. Just
Yeah.
find a way to let the energy move through,
It's
absorb it, digest it, whatever. There's no reason to. And as we take those feelings and we don't express this holding, this we get to, and then so we talk about spoon theory in my house. We talk about, oh, I don't have enough spoons today. Used up all my spoons. How many spoons do you have left? So I'm
yeah.
trying to educate to her little mind in ways that help her develop a communication style that advocates for herself in positive ways, as she grows up.
The spoon theory,
You
if
know.
we would have had that when we were younger, like just being able to explain that, like would have been very fucking helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I learned about it, I don't know, a year or two ago, something like that. And it's like, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been a big help when we were kids. Like, yeah, all this shit's gone. Now I'm just
Right.
working on pure adrenaline, and anything that's gonna happen is gonna, you know, good luck. Good luck. Hopefully this will go
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Keep pushing
Yeah.
through. I'm like, oh, fuck, all right. And then shut down and,
Right. Yeah. And I feel like getting that and finally understanding that I actually am like not
right.
being told growing up that there was nothing, oh, there's not, you're just dramatic. You just have a lot of feelings. And to
Yeah.
understand now what we didn't then about neurodivergence. And at 55 years old, I got diagnosed as ADHD combined type. And I kind of chuckled because I was like, really, combined type, to the doctor? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't feel hyper. He goes, really? And I said, I don't, like, to me, because you think of hyperactive as like the little boy, right? Like jumping, running, climbing.
Yeah.
But for me, it was dancing, singing, launching across the room, being dramatic, like everything's big in the body, like just this big expression, and not realizing that that was my expression of that surge of energy, right? Like,
Yeah.
and having an understanding that, one, now I'm a woman of a certain age, right? So I'm postmenopause. When you've masked,
Oh,
there's now all these studies around, women getting diagnosed in their 50s because once menopause hits, we can't mask anymore. It's like suddenly
sure.
all of the 50 years of masking my ADHD symptoms like fell away, and I'm like, squirrel, squirrel, diamond, shiny, what the fuck? I don't know why I'm in this room. I don't, it's like, and then I have what's called myalgic encephalomyelitis that came from long COVID, which also fucks with your executive functioning. So yeah, I
Well,
do take medication.
yeah,
I have not taken it this morning because I did not want to. I didn't want to pop my Adderall right before I got on with you because it does give me a bit of a zoom to start out the day. And I kind of like to start slower than,
I
you know,
I heard someone
yeah.
say take it and then go back to bed for an hour, and then but I don't know. I don't know if that was a good idea or not.
I
But
could I could try that. I don't know if it would happen. Usually when
yeah,
I'm up.
yeah, okay. So
If I
when
wake up, I'm up,
are you an
no matter
alarm
what time it is.
person, or are you up when you're up? You just wake up.
I'm up when I'm up. I did set an alarm for this morning because
Yeah.
I usually just wake up, but the last 4 mornings I haven't woken up by 6. Usually I'm up by 5, and I've been sleeping in a little later. So I did set an alarm this morning so I wouldn't miss our chat. I was
Oh,
like, do not rely on your own rhythm tomorrow, woman. So I did set an alarm this morning, but usually I don't need to, and I'm usually up no later than 5:15, 5:30 before the
okay.
sun. And that probably comes from just like a lifetime of, being having to be, getting kids to school, having a corporate job for so long, and you get that rhythm in there, and then it's just there. And I
Yeah,
like the early morning because it's
I
quiet,
do. Yeah, it's very quiet, and you
and it's
can have
about the
a
only time in my day that's quiet. So yeah,
yeah, get a lot done before people are even awake.
yeah.
Especially if you're, working with anybody
Oh
that's
yeah, I
on the
can do a
West
whole
Coast.
day's work.
Yeah, and yeah, if you're,
Yeah.
like that was nice when I was out in the Central Time Zone, and I'd be waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and then like by the time everyone's waking up on the West Coast, I'm fucking done with my day pretty much. Like just kind of working just because, but everything's
Right.
done. I'm like,
Yeah.
I fucking feel good, and yeah, no one's. You guys have that kind of
Yeah.
quiet
Did you
time
ever
to.
though? Like I find myself that I'll push though. I'll be like, I used to really. Did you go through this when? And I went through this a stage where when I started doing like really working for myself after I lost my job when I was ill a year and a half ago, and came back around out of a bedridden state to just decide I was just going to do my own thing, like just keep life real simple, and try and just make it without punching somebody else's time
Huh.
clock that was going to require me to maybe do things that my body doesn't want to do right now because of the chronic illness. But I found myself like starting at 5 in the morning, doing my thing, creating, la 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 la, and then come and I would go clear till like 5 or 6 at night, and then I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I?
Well,
I'm starting at 5 in the morning. I don't have to work till 5 at night. Like that was that old
yeah,
mentality of I'm punching that 9 to 5, right? But I was like, no, I'm starting at 5 in the morning. I can fucking be done at noon. I can be done
yeah,
at noon. Like this is my shit. I had to actually like give myself permission to do it my way,
right,
because I was so locked in that rote, like, it's got to be from this time to this time, from this time to this time. And I'm like, no, you know what? That's the beauty of unwinding all of that. And it's been a process, but, we find our way when we let go of that. And, it's just a ride. You just got to ride it out and let those changes be made.
right.
It's interesting, as you make as I study myself and watch myself in hindsight go, oh, that was really interesting how
Yeah. So then,
behavior that I didn't realize was there.
and it's just there, and it's running in our background, and then you're like, oh shit, yeah, I can. Guess I'm done. Still, like even now, like I still feel like, well, I could
Hmm.
probably still do more. if there's time to lean, there's time to clean. I don't know if you had to work those kind of jobs, if you had those things where you got told that one. But I mean, yeah, there's always more to like. Oh, yeah, I guess I'm done for today. That's everything I really need to do. Um, so when we're done for the day, how do people find you to work with you? Is it if they're in person, if they're in your area, or if they want to find you to work with you online? How are they going to do that? You can go down here in the comments or in the description. They'll be down there, which was,
I gave you a whole bunch of links. Yeah.
yeah.
So I do. Yep, down at the bottom. We're gonna go it's just like working with me. We're gonna go down. We're gonna go into the body. We're gonna go down below the mind, below the talk, below. So scroll on down into your root chakra and find me there. No, no, I work with people online. I do Zoom or if someone's in my local area, I will do in-person work. I'm a licensed body worker still, and so I do have a license to touch people. And I don't do like Swedish massage or deep tissue or any kind of that shit anymore. I'm beyond. I just don't do that stuff anymore. But what I do are these somatic immersions where I use sound bowls on the body. These babies go actually on the body, not around the body. They're really cool feeling and intense that way. But I kind of combine some Ayurvedic. I'm trained in Ayurvedic work and my education is very interesting, and that's another whole discussion. But
Yeah.
And then I do somatic healing online with people. So my website, there's a link to just book a free chat with me. Like, let's see if we jive. If you want to come together and see what we can do. I've worked with couples in intimacy and what I call embodied intimacy. So I teach couples how to come back together and find another space of awakened intimacy within themselves. And in the end, for me, it's all about the nervous system needs to feel safe enough to exist, right?
Right.
So when we feel safe enough in our bodies to really exist in a big way, then everything kind of changes. So that's kind of the way I work with people. Inhabit embodiment is kind of what I call my shtick. And it's really it was born out of this last year, losing really kind of everything due to chronic illness, losing my job. I was doing body work. I was faculty on a yoga teacher training program, teaching weekly classes, and then a behavioral health care manager working with people with severe and persistent mental illness, all while raising this little girl who also has severe and persistent mental illness and ended up in a psych unit, ending up in a psych unit, all at one time, lost the job, ended up bedridden. And in that grief of like, what am I going to do now? Like, I'm losing everything that I love and what I think is my mission, was born this whole new way of, inhabiting. How do you inhabit a body that doesn't feel inhabitable? And you do it from a place of honor and not this desire to change or fix it, but just really settling into my nervous system and becoming my own best client. So that's like the new rendition of what I used to do only in public, now in a way that I can do it that honors my own, unique neurochemical makeup and this carbon sack, and bring it to people in ways that now they can, no matter what their body is feeling like, learn to inhabit it from a space of love and honor. And in that, just in doing that, my health has started to improve.
Whoa.
Right. So my baseline has expanded from my own just by approaching it that way. Right. Because we're trained to force, to shove, to push. What happens when we settle into ourselves from love and respect instead of a desire to fix it? I'm not fucking broken, and neither is anyone else. If we're the divine, we're not broken. What if we just honor that and let it digest and unfold and treat ourselves out of love and respect? So that's the first thing I work with people is, instead of saying I'm practicing to fix what's broken, try and reframe. I'm practicing out of love for myself. So whatever you're doing, whether it's yoga or you're doing some sort of physical activity or you're journaling or you're doing art for yourself, anything you're framing is, this is helping me be better. This is helping me to be a better person. This is helping me to be someone other than who I am. How about let me do this out of love for who I am at my truest nature, which is nothing but divine. It's all the stories that we put on top of it that fucks it all up, experience, what we experience in life, and the explanations, stories we wrap around what we experience. And when we can just experience it without the stories, it's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
It's a whole different ballgame.
That's it.
And that's what I try and teach people. Like, how do you experience all of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
experience all of
I
it.
have a little Patreon too, but it's just getting ramped up, and so you
Okay. What?
can come play in the Patreon, get some free practices. I teach somatic work there, do a few little things here and there, and that'll ramp up a little more as school starts for the kiddo again. When I've got a little more free time, we'll get really rolling into that as it's brand new. But so I teach somatic yoga on that space, and some tantric yoga using mantra and breath work, and just kind of getting people into their bodies, exploring what it feels like to really be in life from our sensory experience and not the rationale the ego mind wraps around it.
Yeah. Well, that's fucking cool as shit. And so,
That's my thing.
yeah, that's your thing. And if
If I can feel safe in my body, if I can feel safe in mine,
then people are set.
So I just try and teach people what I did, what I did to find safety in mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's what worked for you, like we were talking about earlier.
They can pop in for a chat. It's free.
Okay. Even better.
Yeah, I don't do anything. I don't teach anything that I didn't do myself.
Yeah.
Everything that I teach, I've done, and I do actively every day. I can only teach from. I don't think that just getting a certification in something gives you any cred. Yeah, you have the education. I did the shit first, and then the things that worked, I went and got the education underneath it.
Yeah.
It started with doing it, having it done, working with someone else, having it facilitate change in myself, and going, oh shit, that worked. I better figure out why. And then I would go wrap like a training or certification or education around it.
And
so I've kind of done it backwards. Well, I think I did it exactly how I was supposed to. But other people would be like, oh, that was weird. And I'm like, hey, it's just the way it happened.
Yeah. Fucking, I got it
so
right.
It's all from lived experience first. Everything's from lived experience first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for being on. I enjoyed getting to chit chat with you. And I don't know how to. I feel like if I click something, you're welcome. If I click something, I'm going to fuck it up. So I'm just going to say, find me, rustydiamond.net down there and all that shit. Thank you so much, everybody. And that is the show, man. I'm pushing that. There we go.
All right. Peace, y'all. Big love. Big love.